Ahayana hewane yano hana. Ahayana hewane yano hana.
Introduction. Navajo Indian school education in the United States has a long and complex history. There are more 3,000 Navajo people in the United States, making them the largest ethnic group. Their primary home is the Navajo Reservation, which is one of the largest Indian reservations in the country. As the federal government established the schools for Navajo Indians in the 19th century, Navajo schools education began to integrate the Navajo into American society and teach them English. These schools were established. The Navajo children were often punished for speaking their language or practicing their traditions in these schools, however. A change in federal policy towards Navajo education began in the 1960s. Navajo tribes were funded to build their schools by the government, as well as preparing Navajo children for college and high school. These schools taught them about their culture and traditions. Navajo school education is in a better place today than it was in the past. However, there are still many challenges that Navajo children face in school. For example, Navajo children are more likely to live in poverty than non-Navajo children. They are also more likely to have mental health problems and be victims of violence. Despite these challenges, Navajo children are achieving great things in school. More and more Navajo children are graduating from high school and going on to the college. More Navajo children are participating in extracurricular activities such as sports, clubs, and drama groups. Navajo schools education is important to the future of the Navajo Nation. Education helps Navajo children develop the skills they need to be successful in school, college, and on the job. It also helps Navajo children learn about their cultures, traditions, and we develop a sense of pride in their Navajo identity. And we present to John Wiska is a pseudonym to protect privacy of him and his family. John is an American Indian man who studied in American school with a host family American. His age now is 35 years, from the tribe Navajo. Hometown is Window, Arizona, and the school that he was is Window Rock High School. Year of school attendance at 2003. John's parents are engaged in agriculture. Agriculture is an important part of Navajo cultures, and many Navajo Indians work in agriculture, including raising cattle, growing crops, and selling produce. Themes that found in the interview: a cultural change, learn other language, and learn another culture.
Woke up early that morning, feeling nervous and excited. I had just moved to the United States from the Navajo Nation, and I was starting my first day at a new school. I didn't speak much English, so I was worried about how I would communicate with my teachers and classmates.
Cultural change. The initial cultural change for a Navajo student in an American school can be very challenging. Navajo students often come from rural and isolated communities and may be used to a very different lifestyle than American students. Navajo students may also have difficulties with the English language. The Navajo language is a very different language than English, and Navajo students may have troubles understanding and speak English. Additionally, Navajo students may have difficulty adjusting to American culture. American culture can differ greatly from Navajo culture, and Navajo students may have trouble understanding American norms and values.
I was placed in a special English language class, where I learned the basics of English grammar and vocabulary. I also had a tutor who helped me with my homework. At first, it was hard to keep up with my classmates. I didn't understand what they were saying, and I was afraid to speak up in class. But gradually, I started to learn more English. I made some friends, and I started to feel more comfortable in my new school.
Learn other language. Navajo students entering American schools often face a number of challenges when learning the English language. These challenges might include lack of exposure of English. Many Navajo students do not have much exposure to English before entering American schools. This can make it difficult for them to understand and speak English. Differences between the Navajo language and English. The Navajo language is very different from English in terms of grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. This can make it difficult for Navajo students to learn English. Stress. The process of learning a new language can be very stressful for Navajo students. This can make it difficult for them to focus on learning and can lead to behavior problems. Despite these challenges, many Navajo students are able to learn the English language and succeed in American schools. With support and guidance, Navajo students can learn to write, read, and speak English fluently.
One of the most challenging experiences I had living with American people was the language barrier. I did not speak English very well when I first came to live with American people, and it was difficult to communicate with my host family and classmates. I felt isolated and frustrated because I could not express myself the way I wanted to. I also felt like I was missing out on important information and experiences because I could not understand what was going on around me.
Learn another culture. Navajo students living with American families may face a number of cultural adjustment challenges. These challenges may include language. Navajo students might have troubles learning English, which is the official language of the United States. This can make it difficult for them to communicate with their classmates, teachers, and other members of the American community. The culture. American culture can be very different from Navajo culture. Navajo students may have trouble understanding American norms and values as well as American customs and traditions. Family. Navajo students may miss their families and friends on the Navajo reservation. They may also have troubles adjusting to a new family and lifestyle. Despite these challenges, many Navajo students have found success living with American families. With support and guidance, Navajo students can learn English, adjust to American culture, and succeed in school. There are a number of factors that make school success more difficult for the Navajo. These factors include poverty. The Navajo Reservation is one of the poorest areas in the United States. The poverty rate on the reservation is 30% and the employment rate is 40%. This means that many Navajo children live in poverty and do not have access to the resources they need to succeed in school. Lack of access to health care. The Navajo Reservation also has a high rate of chronic diseases such as diabetes and obesity. This illness can make it difficult for Navajo children to learn and may make them more likely to be absent from school. Violence. The Navajo Reservation also has a high rate of violence. This can create an unsafe environment for Navajo children and can make it difficult to focus on learning. Lack of Navajo teachers. Most of the teachers in Navajo schools are white. This can make it difficult for Navajo children to identify with their teachers and can make it more difficult for teachers to understand Navajo culture. Lack of resources. Navajo schools often have fewer resources than schools in urban areas. This can make it difficult for Navajo children to access the technology, books, and other resources they need to be successful in school. Despite these limitations, John was able to successfully pass school and enter the university, obtaining a professional degree. Much of this effort was thanks to the confidence that he had from the beginning to overcome his limitations and take advantage of the opportunities and the support he received, be it from friends, family, and institutions in which he developed. With the support of their culture, family, and community, Navajos have the potential to succeed in school and in life. There are a number of things that can be done to improve the school environment to support the success of Navajo students in American schools. These include increased Navajo representation in teaching staff. Navajo students are more likely to succeed in school when they have teachers who are like them and who understand their cultures. Offer support programs for Navajo students. These programs may include tutoring, enrichment programs, and dropout prevention programs. Create an inclusive and welcoming school environment. This means that all the students, regardless of their background, feel welcome and supported at the school. There are many ways to empower Navajo students in their literacy and technology use process for a more multicultural society. Some of these ways include incorporate the Navajo language and culture into the curriculum. This will help Navajo students feel proud of their heritage and learn about their history and culture. offer literacy and technology programs in Navajo. This will help Navajo students learn to read and write in their native language and give them access to technology in their language. Work with Navajo families to support their children's learning. This will help ensure that Navajo parents are involved in their children's education and have access to the resources they need to support their children in school. There are many ways American schools can create an environment that fosters family-school connections for families of Navajo students. Here are some ideas. Create a welcoming and respectful environment. A school must make families feel welcome and respected, regardless of their culture or language. This means providing translation and tutoring services, as well as creating an environment where families feel comfortable raising their concerns. Communicate regularly with families. A school must keep families informed about their children's progress, as well as events and activities taking place at the school. This can be done by sending out newsletters, emails, and notes, as well as organizing meetings and events for families. Involve families in decision-making. The school must involve families in decision-making about their children's learning and development. This can be done by creating school councils, committees, and other forums in which families can participate. I have learned a lot about how to be a better teacher who teaches students from the other cultures. Here are some tips I can share. Be respectful and understanding of cultural differences. Students from other cultures might have different beliefs, values, and ways of learning. This is important to be respectful of these differences and adapt your teaching accordingly. Be patient and understanding. Learning a new language can be a slow and challenging process. Be patient with your students and offer support and encouragement. Use a variety of teaching methods. Not all students learn in the same way. Use a variety of teaching methods to reach all of your students. Create a positive and welcoming learning environment. The student must feel comfortable and safe to learn. Create a positive and welcoming learning environment in your class. The teaching of an L2 language should focus on the development of students' communication skills. Students must learn to speak, listen, read, and write in the L2 language. Instruction must be personalized to meet individual needs of students. Students must have opportunities to practice their communication skills in a safe and supportive environment. In general, the experience of a Navajo student living with an American family would be an encounter between two different cultures. Although there can be challenges and differences, it can also be an opportunity for cultural exchange, mutual learning, and building strong and meaningful relationships. Remember that each student is unique and might have individual needs, so it is important to adapt your teaching approach according to the circumstances and characteristics of each student. Your dedication and effort to understand and support your students from other cultures will be valued and appreciated.